So for example, if you have an uplight here, I might throw a path and garden light kind of on the edge here. I might throw one over here, then I have my uplight. I might throw another one here. I've got my uplight, and then I might just kind of stagger a few in between where I have my accent light. And again, it creates that different depth of light. You've got really 3 layers now. You've got the backlight, you've got the couple of the landscape features lit up front, and then you have some lower level path lighting.
Hey guys, it's Cal from The Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys enjoy this video with some more great landscape lighting tips. To learn more about landscape lighting, go and check out our website at lightingdoctor.ca, or if you want to see what a real quality landscape light should look like, go and check out our Try It Before You Buy It offer, where you can get a premium quality fixture at a discounted rate with your very own battery pack, so you can go and test out how that light's going to look and feel what a real premium quality light should look like. So go and check us out at lightingdoctor.ca, or go watch more videos on YouTube just by searching for The Lighting Doctor.
Hey, Tom, thanks for your email and your pictures here. Yeah, I'd love to give you a couple ideas here for your property. I'll just show you some examples to kind of give you an idea of some of the things I'll talk about, but a little bit just kind of lighting the front porch and the deck lighting. And keep in mind the second story lighting. It's something that a lot of people won't do, but I think there's really a lot of value in doing some stuff like that. So I'll show you a couple options. Again, just kind of highlighting the porch area is something I really like doing, and then just some ways that you can kind of highlight the rest of the house with some accent lights. So the way I would go about it is based on those pictures. Basically what we're using in those is just some standard uplights. So something like this, like an uplight, an accent light. Different people call it different things, but basically it's to highlight the house and the landscape. So this is going to be primarily the majority of the light that you're going to want to use. And the way I go and do this is I'll usually have those strung out just underneath these columns here. So I don't want them too far back and shining at the house. That's what I see a lot of people make the mistake of, is they'll bring the lights too far back and they try and shine it at the house. And what that does is it creates a very flat looking light. Whereas if you can get it, about 12 inches back or so and have it shining more upright, that's where you're really going to highlight these nice columns. And then that light hits the top soffit area too, and it kind of spreads, gives you some reflective light, and it almost gives you almost that soffit lighting effect. So I would do that on all 5 of these columns for sure. And I would probably even try and consider getting one on the corner of the house here too, just on this corner, so that you have kind of that consistent theme of the lighting all the way across, just using those standard accent lights. So that's what I would do first and foremost. And then along this side of the house, same thing. And again, kind of what you've done too, but then just to kind of show you, this is more or less what it would look like. Obviously a slightly different configuration, but I would have 3 of those uplights kind of on this side of the window. And you could even just almost border it on the edge of the shutter, especially if you have the one light here, one in the middle, and then another one here. And then that's going to do a nice job of lighting this. And then it backlights the area too for any of the stuff that's in front. So you don't need a whole lot of other lighting in front to highlight some of this stuff. Over here, because you have some more unique trees and features, this is something that if you did want to accent these, you definitely could. I think what I would do though is just to create kind of a different consistency, a different level of light, is I would probably use a wash light as opposed to an uplight. Reason being is because this is a softer, wider angle light, so it's nice to have that contrast between some kind of brighter backlit stuff in the back, and then you have a wash light highlighting some of this stuff in the front, and it gives you that different depth of lighting. So that's what I would do there, probably with at least one on here, and I'd probably try and get one kind of on here that just kind of gently highlights both of those. And I think that would be a nice balance. Sometimes when I'm doing that kind of backlighting, accent lighting on the house, what I like to do is, I'm never a big fan of using too many path and garden lights, because I think they're overused and people tend to use them to make it look like they're trying to land an airplane, where if they're placed properly, they can be a really nice accent to the backlighting you have here. So for example, if you have an uplight here, I might throw a path and garden light kind of on the edge here. I might throw one over here, then I have my uplight. I might throw another one here. I've got my uplight, and then I might just kind of stagger a few in between where I have my accent light. And again, it creates that different depth of light. You've got really 3 layers now. You've got the backlight, you've got the couple of the landscape features lit up front, and then you have some lower level path lighting right up front. So that's how I would kind of handle the front area. And then I would definitely try and take advantage of lighting this second story peak. Now, there's all kinds of different ways that you could do it. I think primarily because this kind of stands out the most, and you've got a good amount of light down here, what I would do is I'd probably try and mount 2 more of those accent lights kind of here and have them shining up on this second portion here. Now, a lot of times I'll get asked, is that going to produce a bunch of light in the window? Well, typically this is it's not an area that you're going to be spending a lot of time at night. It's usually not a bedroom or anything like that, but even so, you're really trying to get that light pointed more upwards and just kind of grazing it than you are shining it in the window. And the way we do that is actually just with these gutter mounts. You can find those on our website too. We can always help you customize a kit as well, Tom, but basically they go in the gutter, they screw in there, the fixture screws into them. And what we do is I'll typically just run all my wire, either right behind or inside the downspout, across the gutter, throw my gutter mounts, mount my 2 lights. All the connections are waterproof, so you can make them right in the gutter. And then it really makes that second tier stand out. And then you kind of have both peaks of the house lit up. You've got a really nice balance on the bottom there. And then on the flag, this was something too that a lot of people will light up. I think if you throw, again, another one of those up lights on it, the only difference is I might use something a little bit brighter for the flag light, just to make sure you're pushing that light all the way to the top. So these come standard with a 4-watt LED lamp inside of them. But sometimes when we're doing a flag, we'll upgrade those to what we'll call a 35-watt equivalent, which is basically a 5-watt LED lamp. So it's a little brighter than the standard ones that come in it. And it just does a better job of kind of pushing that light up the flagpole to the flag. And then, and I'll keep going through some of the pictures here. But yeah, so, this is a really good look where a wash light here, and I think if you kind of had a wash light here that kind of highlights this, and this would look nice. You might want to throw one on the corner ornamental here that you have as well, but maybe come at it more from an angle. And what that does is it extends the viewing angle so that everything's not just lit up from the front, but then as you're kind of walking up to the house from the side or the side, this kind of stands out a little bit. And if there's some ornamental features on this side, you can do the same thing over there as well with that wash light, which it doesn't look like there is. So thank you for sending the pictures. And that's why I wouldn't worry too much about highlighting these. You definitely could, but I think if you do the path lighting and you backlight, because the nice thing about backlighting the house too, especially when you have a nice white reflective surface, is it does give you a lot of reflective light back down into the beds, and it creates the silhouettes of some of the landscape plants that you have. As opposed to just lighting them directly, it just creates a silhouette of them, which is nice because, again, it's a different level of light. I would definitely try and accent some of these trees coming out the driveway as well. Obviously, this is a longer run, so whatever you're going to do with your transformer, what I would do is, the nice thing is if you're using any of our transformers, they start with a 15-volt tap. So on a project like yours, you might want to go with a 300-watt transformer, something like this, but it has a couple different taps, but it starts at 15, 14. So basically what that means, if it has a 15-volt tap, you start at 15 volts, and then you can lose a lot more voltage down the line, which is good when you're doing something like this, because now obviously you're going to have a long run, but typically you can put 100 watts of lights, which on those lights that I would recommend here, I would just use, again, a couple up lights on each one of these trees. So you're maybe not even going to be 50 watts total. So you could probably run 500 feet of cable from that transformer and not run into any voltage drop issues. But that's what I would do, is I would basically at least light them from the driveway side. And it just really depends. Keep in mind viewing angle. If you want these trees to really pop as you're driving in, then put the lights kind of on this side, probably towards the edge of the mulch bed, and have them shining up, because these canopies are a little bit larger. If you want them to look really good from both sides as you're driving out and driving in on the property, then I would recommend, one on each side of the tree, so it's kind of lit up from both angles. Or the other thing you can do, you can kind of stagger. So say, for example, one you have lit from this side, and this one you have lit from that side, and this one you have lit from this side. So every second tree as you're driving up is lit from the driveway angle, and then as you're driving out, you have every second tree lit from the house angle. So hopefully that makes sense, and that gives you some good ideas to get started. Obviously too, I think if you have any of the other big trees like this, I would try and get an uplight on them as well. It's nice that you have the beds around there, because then you can just use a standard uplight. You don't have to use an in-ground light or anything like that, which is nice because it saves you money. An in-ground light, very similar to an uplight, same effect. The only difference is if you had to put it in the grass, you could, and you could just mow right over it, so it's less maintenance, but they do cost more than a standard uplight. So again, hopefully, Tom, that gives you some pretty good ideas to get started with. Let me know what you like, what you don't like. We can customize a kit for you based on those suggestions. Just kind of let me know what you think about the trees up the driveway, what you think about the second tier lighting on the house, the back lighting, all that kind of stuff, and then we can put that together for you. And if you have any other questions, just feel free to email me back.
So how to size your transformer, I'll show you, walk you guys through how to do that. It's super simple to do. And like I said about voltage drop and all that kind of stuff, if you're putting in an LED system, it's not something you have to worry about as much. If you look on any of the bulbs that you're using in your landscape lights, it'll either say on the box what the light is, or if you're switching around bulbs and that, you'll usually find the information you need on it. But for sizing your transformer, the biggest thing you need to know is how many watts is each lamp in each fixture going to take. So I have an example here. Say this was our system, and we've got 3 accent lights that we're going to put on it. Each one of these is a 5-watt bulb on it. So we've got 3 times 5, so we got 15 watts total. And then we got our path light, which is going to have a smaller bulb in it, and it's only going to use 2 watts. So we're at 15, so we're at 17 watts. So really all we need is a transformer that's approximately 20 watts or higher. Now, it's going to be tough to find one that small, and it's rare that you're only going to put in this many lights, but it just gives you an example. That's basically how you calculate how many you have, and what size transformer you're going to use. So again, if you had 10 of these and they're all 5 watts now, you're 50 watts, and say you had 10 of these and they're all 2 watts each, well, that's 50 plus 20, you're at 70 watts. You want a transformer that's probably going to be 100 watts or more to operate that system. So it's really easy to calculate out. And if you're starting to get into a system that's more than 16 lights, you might want to also consider finding a transformer that has a 15 volt tap on it. So most transformers will have either a 12 or a 15 volt tap. Smaller ones will only have a 12 volt tap, and all that means is that from where the wire comes out of your transformer to where it goes down to the lights, you're starting at 12 volts, which means you can lose about 3 volts along that line and still have those lights work. If you have more lights, you want to get a transformer that's maybe a little bigger like this. It starts with a 15 volt tap, which means now you can lose up to 6 volts along that line and still have those lights run efficiently. So that's basically how you size your transformer. It's super easy to do the math. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video presentation with some great tips and tools on how to go and properly and effectively light up your landscape. And be sure, if you want your own free consultation video, just send me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca with a few pictures of your property, and we'll get back to you with some really cool ideas and ways to go and effectively light your property. And be sure to watch the videos after this one for more tips on how to install landscape lighting, as well as how to light up your landscape the best way possible.